Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. You know, I always say not all heroes wear capes. And Sudauter? Suduber? Maybe I should just call you Mr. P. The Diablo man posted a really important idea for a video. I'm sure he had no subconscious thought of, I want to make this so Prof. Hoff does a video. I mean, maybe he did. That'd be the ultimate compliment. But assuming he didn't, you know, I still appreciate the post. Will we see an update for the Black ISO Store Paragon player buff anytime soon? So, Black ISO Store really needs an update for Paragon players. The $10 value is not holding up for what you get now. We get better items in daily crystals that it's getting really tough to justify the cost these days. Might be time to take a break from it for until it's buffed. So it's sort of like it's almost like a ultimatum post, you know? It's like, are we getting this? Because if we don't, you don't get my $10 anymore. The trade in for high tier potions and tier 4 basic weekly make it worth it to ETM34. Like to see a Paragon update, yes, but $10 a month, the value isn't horrible. Grounded wisdom. Oh, I'm sure this is going to be so helpful. I mean, I'm not opposed to anything being revisited, but there's always a but with him. There are also limitations to what $10 a month will do. That's one of the dumbest posts I've ever seen him make because the limitations were completely blown out of the water from expectations of what $10 for daily specials could give Paragon players, especially with the Paragon stamps. So Grounded Wisdom, that's a dumb take. DNA 3000, I would not be surprised to see updates to things like the Thronebreaker gated trades, but in terms of the value of the Black Ice Store, I personally think there's plenty of value in there. Inventory cap improvements, energy recharge increase, potion trade, 5 to 6 star trade, tier 2 alpha to tier 5 basic trade, plus the fact that the 300 units you get plus or minus per monthly sub makes it virtually free if you are a moderately active player, makes the value objectively more than reasonable. Whether people want to spend money on it entirely their choice, but the notion that the problem is there's poor value for Paragon players isn't objectively true. Now, DNA 3000 oftentimes has very well-worded, thought-out, the opposite of Grounded Wisdom posts, and I do agree that there is plenty of value. I have loved specifically the mentioned 3 tier 2 alpha for 1 tier 5 basic trade because it saves you over 1,000 glory when you're a Paragon player, and maybe even a Thronebreaker player too. I guess both. With that being said, we're going to visit at the second half of this video how I would improve it. I buy it just for the inventory cap increase alone. Can't keep spending my tier 5 class catalyst fast enough without it. Well, nobody else. I guess I will just stay as is forever. I'd like to see some trade up offers for tier 6 basic and tier 3 alpha at least added. Now we're going to talk about that. From Kabam's point of view, they need to keep it increasing or people won't continue buying it. A big reason I got it was for the inventory increase, but they've now increased it for everyone, so I'm considering dropping it. They want our money. That much is obvious. Column worth 69 says. So eventually, if you scroll all the way down and see a lot of posts on this, Kabam Mike will say, hey, short answer, yes, we're working on it. Long answer, yes, we are working on it. Same answer. But I'm not quite sure what the timeline is right now. We've got some cool things coming up to the contest this fall, Battlegrounds and more. And we're looking at how we can align a Paragon update with that, but I would personally like to see a smaller update earlier. Don't have any more information than that right now, but we'll update you all when we do. Kabam Mike, you are learning from Kabam Jax, because that sounded like Kabam Jax wrote that. It is a nicely worded post. Thank you. Okay, so Black ISO Store discussion. One of my biggest critiques is that, especially Paragon players, there should be 11,000 6-star shards. There should be the same price to trade in as the 5-star. That would go a long way. The extra 2,000 6-star shards you'd save, seriously, would go a long way. Now, what if Kabam gave Paragon players, for this cost, a 6-star Nexus? It would still take, what, 3+ months to form if you got it every week? Upgrading this from a 6-star to a 6-star Nexus would be huge. I also think they should at least make this from 300 6-star shards to 500 minimum. 500, purchase limit 5, minimum. That gives you 2,500 6-star shards as a trade-in. That would be nice. Paragon players, how great would it be if this was converted from a 20% to a 30% greater champion boost for the same small cost? I'm digging the health potions, though I'm pretty much out of potions, so I'm waiting to trade mine in. And, of course, I still have 17 more days to worry about that, so I'm not worried about that. Love the Tier 1 Alpha trade-in. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now as I'm thinking about it. This is not, unless you need them and you're in a crunch, a good value compared to the reverse of it. Glory allowed Tier 2 Alpha to be much cheaper to buy than Tier 5 Basic. So as I said at the beginning of this video, you're saving over 1,000 Glory if you do not this trade-in, which you see I haven't done, but the other one. What about half a Tier 2 Alpha for this? Just double it for Paragon players. Same price, just double the value. That would be great. Love the Tier 4 Basic. Keep all that. This is my favorite thing, though. Trade in 3 Tier 2 Alpha for 1 Tier 5 Basic really does make so much sense. I would love to see this as just like the half a Tier 2. How about half a Tier 5 Basic minimum? That's what Paragon players are used to getting in the minimum of daily crystals. What's fascinating about this used to feel like a really big deal, right? A 5% Tier 5 Class Callus Fragment Selector. But now, the best value comes from a 10% one in the daily special. So that has not at all held up in value, which is kind of what I was referring to with Grounded Wisdom's Grounded Ignorance comment. And so, yeah, that'd be nice to see. I enjoy the 4-star, 5-star trades. I'm sure they'd keep that. Wouldn't change it. Black Isosaur Scarlet Witch has been a huge addition to the game, but once you have her and you have her awakened, the appeal just isn't there as much to throw Black Isosaur credits her way. I do enjoy these Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 class selector changes. I still say this is the biggest ripoff in the whole store. Legendary Crystal for a huge price tag. So, the last thing I want to cover is what we alluded to in that forum post, and that's what about Tier 3 Alpha and Tier 6 Basic? Now, I think the Happy Camper store kind of gives us a preview of what would be fair, and that is about 2280 and 1800 amounts. I think that could happen twice a month, but you could get just that amount. I don't think that would break the economy of the game, because that's Kabam's big fear. But just give us something. You know, maybe by the end of the month, you've collected as much as 10% of a Tier 6 Basic and Tier 3 Alpha extra. It's not going to screw people over who don't buy it, but it's going to be a nice little top off for people to do. That is my dream. Now, of course, I would also like to see 6-star dual class crystals available, but the Nexus concept would be preferred for me. So I'd be very happy if this just turned to a 6-star Nexus to start off. There you have it, YouTube. That's how I would improve the Black Iso store for Paragon players. And I also appreciate the thread on it, and I appreciate Brian Shadow Strike alerting me to the post in the first place.